This video is to help you to support your child when they are multiplying or dividing by 10, 100 or 1000 as part of their home learning. Before starting any multiplication or dividing of 10, 100 or 1000, it might be a good idea to have a chart similar to the one shown here. This is a place value chart which you can write numbers on. Before the decimal point you can see there are ones, tens, hundreds and thousands. After the decimal point there are tenths, hundredths and thousandths. Because multiplying or dividing by 10, 100 or 1000 is all about applying a rule in how many spaces the digits move left and right, a reusable one of these will help your child recognise the value of each digit within the number they are working with. We will focus on multiplying first. When multiplying by 10, all digits move one column to the left. Here, the 4 moves from the tens to the hundreds column, the 3 moves from the ones to the tens column, and we add a 0 as the placeholder. Therefore, 43 times 10 equals 430. Here is an example of this using a decimal number. When multiplying by 10, all digits, including those after the decimal point, move one column to the left. The 2 goes from the ones to the tens. The 8 goes from the tenths to the ones. The decimal point never moves. The 7 goes from the hundredths to the tenths. Therefore, 2.87 times 10 is 28.7. When multiplying any number by 100, the number now moves 2 places to the left. So the 1 goes from the tens to the thousands, the 2 goes from the ones to the hundreds, and we add 2 zeros as placeholders. Therefore, 12 times 100 is 1200. An example using decimal numbers. Each digit moves 2 places to the left. So, the 0.78, the 7 moves from the tenths to the tens, the 8 moves from the hundredths to the ones. There is no need to move the 0 because it's before the decimal point. Therefore, 0.78 times 100 is 78. When multiplying by 1000, all digits move 3 places to the left. This is going to go slightly off my chart into the tens of thousands. The 6 moves from the tens into the tens of thousands. The 5 moves from the ones into the thousands. Then we add 3 zeros as placeholders before the decimal point. 65 times 1000 is 65,000. An example using decimals. Multiplying by 1000 means moving all digits 3 places. The way to help your child remember how many places to move the digits is to look at the zeros in the number. 1000 has 3 zeros, therefore it moves 3 places. Here, 2.43 multiplied by 1000 is 2,430. Dividing is similar to the rule we followed when multiplying by 10, 100 or 1000, but this time the number is getting smaller, so we move all digits to the right. When dividing by 10, we move all digits 1 place to the right. Here, the 9 from the ones that goes to the tenths. The decimal point always remains in the same place. The tens move into the ones, therefore 79 divided by 10 is 7.9. An example starting with a decimal number. We are still dividing by 10, so we're moving everything 1 place to the right. 14.7. The 7 from the tenths goes to the hundredths. The 4 from the ones goes to the tenths. The decimal point always remains in the same place. The 1 goes from the tens to the ones. Therefore, 14.7 divided by 10 is 1.47. When dividing by 100, we move all digits 2 places to the right. So here we have 43. The 3 from the ones goes to the hundredths. The 4 from the tens goes to the tenths. Decimal point remains the same and we need to put a 0 in front of the decimal point. 43 divided by 100 is 0.43. An example starting with a decimal number. 15.8 divided by 100. Here, the 8 from the tenths goes to the thousands. The 5 from the ones goes to the hundredths. The 1 from the tens goes to the tenths. We put a decimal point and put a 0 in front of the decimal point. Therefore, 15.8 divided by 100 is 0.158. Dividing by 1,000, we move all digits 3 places to the right. Here, 762. The 2 from the ones goes all the way to the thousandths. The 6 from the tens goes to the hundredths. The 7 from the hundreds goes to the tenths. We put a decimal point and put a 0 in front of the decimal point. Therefore, 762 divided by 1,000 is 0.762. Your child will need to apply this rule in other areas of maths. For example, when working with percentages and finding 10% of a number, this is the same as dividing by 10. We apply the rule and move all digits 1 place to the right. Here, £2.30, the 3 from the tenths goes to the hundredths. The 2 from the ones goes to the tenths. We put a decimal point in the same place and put a 0 in front. Therefore, 10% of £2.30 is 23p, which can be written as this way or this way. When working with fractions, finding 1/10 of a number is also the same as dividing by 10, so all the digits move 1 place to the right. Here, 54, the 4 from the ones moves to the tenths. We put the decimal point in the same place. The tens become ones. Therefore, 1/10 of 54 is 5.4. Hopefully that video helped to explain how multiplying and dividing is introduced in school. Remember, the most important part of home learning is to give your child lots of praise and encouragement as they work through new concepts. If you have any questions, please contact the school directly. Thank you.